Hello there, I'm Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. This is, of course, part 2 of the Slick Modern build that I recently posted. So you get to see the ending half of the build and the screenshots of how it turned out altogether. I like including the screenshots because sometimes you may miss it or you can't get the whole overall feel of it in the speed build video as I'm sort of doing things quickly. Now what I'm doing right now, it's sort of a mixture of things, like I'm picking stuff randomly out, but you might see me actually putting stuff on the floor in the kitchen. Usually I cut stuff like this out, but because randomly I was coming across stuff and throwing it in like the little laundry room that I made and the dining room area, I decided to just leave it in and also talk about the why I do this, because I tend to do this a lot and sometimes I'll talk about it in videos and a lot of times I won't. But especially in like house builds and especially in the kitchen, because the kitchen is the one that a lot of times I put a lot of little decorations, more so than anywhere else, especially like close together versus in some of the other places the decorations are more spread out, or some of the other objects like bookcases and things like that actually give you more of that feel of actually having like objects decorating the place and stuff. Unlike with kitchens, you just got the countertops and the countertops don't have anything. You choose to put stuff on there. So this is sort of what I do. I just go through and find items that I know that I probably want to put in this particular kitchen, and I'll go and set them on the floor, because scrolling through the little catalog sometimes can get really annoying, especially video-wise, but since I had to split this one in two anyway, and I realized that even with taking that out, it wouldn't have made enough difference for me to smush it into one whole video. So yeah, I actually just left it in to serve as like a little like reminder to show you guys sometimes I do that, and if someone watching this just happens to be someone who wants to start doing speed builds and things like that, maybe that'd be something that you would be interested in doing if you're recording them, to let you save on time. So I thought every once in a while maybe including things like that where I do stuff, or at least trying to talk about it, like the whole light thing where I go and put the lights up and then I cut those out to save on time and stuff. It's nice every once in a while so that anyone who maybe wants to do this themselves can actually little idea of maybe what they could try for themselves. Everyone's different, so you may find some of their tricks or something else that works better for you. But it's nice sort of knowing or giving it a try. But yeah, anyway, the kitchen was being built partially through the ending of the last episode, but it was so much close to the ending, I didn't really say much about the kitchen. But again, the whole feel through this house, like I'd mentioned, I wanted it to look very similar color scheme to outside, which is mostly white and black, and with a mixture of some of those more like that rusty copper tone which comes from the wood. That is the majority of the underneath of the house. And I personally chose those colors because in my head a lot of moderns tend to have a lot of black and white in general. I could be wrong maybe, but in my head and in my thought process, a lot of moderns tend to have those colors. And if they don't have those colors or they do have those colors, it's perfectly fine. But I really do like the way the white and black contrast each other and look, especially on the outside of houses. That's like one of my favorite like looks, is just because they sort of stick off each other so well. I like that white and black. And then I actually really liked putting the more copper rusty tone in there with the wood flooring as well. I thought it looked really, really nice actually with both colors, and then since it will go with both colors, when all the colors are together, it looks really nice. So yeah, that was my sort of choice of color scheme. Now once I get to the bedrooms, it does change a little bit, depending on the bedroom and things like that. And like I said, I did have a sim family in mind for myself to be moving it in, and basically their style also just fits this mostly black and white theme. Like they would have just really preferred it to be like that and very sleek and like, just I have really hard time describing words. Like, there's, like, words floating around in my head, and I know exactly sometimes what I'm going for to a certain extent, but trying to get that out into words, I struggle for some reason, and it's really annoying, to be honest with you. But trying to explain things sometimes is the hardest thing for me, and I have no idea why, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah. But you sort of maybe get my drift of where I was trying to go with them. They like more of that sleek, put together, clean look, not like a whole lot of clutter or things going on necessarily. So that's sort of like, the overall feel of the house for the most part until you get to the bedrooms, except for the master bedroom, because, the master bedroom is the same people who's been decorating the whole entire house. But as far as the other bedrooms, there is some difference that starts to come out. Now, this little laundry area was one of the last-minute decisions. I really like including laundry areas in my Sims. It's one of those realistic aspects that I think's really nice, and it does add to the game. So I enjoy it. Like, I like having a mix of realistic and non-realistic features together, because I think it makes the game different and unique, and still fun and still relatable in a way, if you get what I'm trying to say. So I like that mixture, and it's like, it may be with the hint of realism mixing with the non-realism. It's done usually in a way that, it can almost seem like it could be a realistic thing to a certain degree, because it's mixed in pretty well. So that's what I sort of like about this game, when you start mixing realistic and non-realistic elements. And the laundry is one of the realistic elements that I like to have, because it's just a little simple thing, but it does add, like, something to the game. And I feel like anymore the Sims don't have as many things to worry them or challenge them in a way, if you get what I'm trying to say. Basically, like, they don't have as many worries or as many things that are dangerous, and the dryer is one of the few things that is still dangerous. It can get annoying because sometimes it seems like the lint tray gets clogged up way too quickly, but at the same time, it's at least something that add a bit of unexpectedness to your game. So for those few reasons, I always do include laundry in some sort of way. A lot of times I do go the washer and dryer route, but not always, depending on the feel that I'm going for the house and the type of people that I'm sort of imagining going into the house could change it quite dramatically. So, but in most cases I do use the washer and dryer, because I would not like to hand wash my clothes myself, so I try not to put my Sims through it unless that is their personal choice. In a way. But yeah, so anyway, this is now into the living room. So all of that is open. Even the washer and dryer technically is open, but it's sort of stuck in behind the stairs. Like, I figured that was a nice way to where they were still, the washer and dryers were still there, but they were hidden but easy to get to all at the same time. And using that sort of stairs space for something other than just stairs. And also considering that the one bedroom that is down here on this floor is right behind the staircase, and obviously the stairs upstairs is all bedrooms, it makes sense for the washer and dryer to be as close to the stairs as possible anyway, because if I lived in this house, I wouldn't want to have to travel extremely far from my bedroom to go to the washer and dryer. So technically, it's not far from any of the bedrooms. So it sort of worked out, and I thought it was good placement, but everything else is open concept. It's going one solid floor. Obviously, there's some walls doing some, like, corners here and there, but ultimately, you can stand in the kitchen and see through the dining room into the living room, and you could walk straight through without ever going through an archway or a doorway. So, it's quite open, and I don't normally, I'm not used to as many open spaces myself. A lot of the houses that family and friends live in, for the most part, are not open concept, except for, the living room and the kitchen. I guess sort of like this, but this is a bigger house. I guess that's the point. Never been in a big house like this. That's probably more of the situation going on here. But yeah. But I do like them to an extent. I'm someone who actually doesn't mind, sort of being close to things, and unless it's people. So, like, I'm the opposite of claustrophobic until it becomes people, and then I am claustrophobic. But, so yeah, I actually don't mind tight spaces and things being close together and walls and stuff like that. But I get for, like, the entertainment spaces, it is nice to sort of sometimes have open walls, because if you're trying to talk to people, sometimes your voice does not carry as well if there's a wall between, even if it's like an open way. Like my kitchen actually has two walkways that are open, but in the middle of the kitchen is a wall that separates the living room from the kitchen. So if I'm in the kitchen talking to my dad in the living room, his hearing is not the best anymore. On top of it, I tend to have to scream. So yeah, that's a little annoying. But anyway, let's get back to the build. I am now doing the study. The study is quite big, and sometimes I do make the studies big, and sometimes I don't have a study. But I do tend to lean towards a big study, because then I usually end up deciding, like, yeah, this is, like, not just a study, it's, like, the room where homework is done and things like that. But also the two Sims that I was sort of intending to move into this house, actually both are very big computer people and a very, like, their job, the way their job is. So this is where they would actually work. There's actually not a computer in any of the bedrooms in this house. So there is 3 computers in here, 2 for basically the 2 main people living in the house, so that they can go and do their work and things like that, while the other one is a spare one for any guests or kids to use while they are also here. So it is a study, but it's meant to be also a sort of open place for everyone to sort of still technically spend time with, I guess, in a way. So, you can have your kids doing homework in here at the same time with having the bookcases and the other laptop while you're doing work. As long as no one's, like, completely distracting each other or annoying each other, it's fine. So that's part of the reason why that study's big, because for this particular family, it was more important. You can always, if you decide to download this build for yourself, you can always actually turn it into another bedroom or split it in half, because it is a pretty big room even compared to the other bedrooms. So you can always split it and make a smaller study and another bedroom, or however you see fit. But that is how I chose to do it in this particular build for myself. I am now onto the first bedroom, which is the one bedroom that is downstairs. I do actually cut out all the bathrooms, by the way. I tend to cut out them, except for the master bath. It is still in here. But this is one of the bedrooms. This is a colorful one. This, technically, for the Sims that I was thinking of building this for, I was like, I don't really think they'll have as many kids as I have bedrooms. But at the same time, I'm not sure. But so I decided to go with this of more of a family guest space, particular to one particular family member on one of the Sims sides. So this is where the sister of one of the Sims that I would plan to move in here would potentially stay, because I sort of have a whole story going on with them, and maybe she would stay here for a bit. So this was sort of how I decided to do it. It could easily be a guest bedroom, or the oldest child's bedroom, or the just another family member, like I'm doing, however you see fit for your situation if you do download it. And talking about a download real quick, if you are interested in download it, like I said in the first video, it should be up on the gallery and now, so that you can go and download it. It is going to be called the Slick Mod, not just Slick Modern, not the won't be there, but Slick Modern. My origin ID is Artistic Gamer 7, so you could go and find me and find this build there. If you, for some reason, have a hard time finding it, please let me know down in the comments below or over on my Twitter. Whichever one is easier for you. But yeah, definitely let me know if you have a hard time finding it, and I will help you try to find it and locate it for yourself. There is no CC used in this build, but there is bb.moveObjects, so definitely make sure you have that turned on when placing the build, because I know in the past, sometimes that messes things up when placing the build versus just placing it without that on. Sometimes things get messed up all over the place versus having it on. So yeah, anyway, As you see, I did add closets. For one, I realized I haven't been using closets in builds for a while, and I tend to like to try to put closets in builds. I do know that automatically puts, what is it, Get Together, I think? It automatically puts Get Together in the game, no matter what. There's that, it automatically puts a pack on there, but I do like the closets because a lot of rooms actually have closets, and I know with, like, a lot of people I know and family members and things like that, there's a closet, but you also sometimes still have a dresser. And I know that I do. I know that I would need both myself, so having closets is sort of nice and makes sense for The Sims. Plus, for someone like me who sometimes makes the rooms bigger than they necessarily need to be, it helps sort of take up some of that space sometimes. So, yeah, I went around and made sure to put closets in all the rooms. The master bedroom got 2 closets, and it got the bigger size ones versus all the other rooms got the smaller size closets. I think the smaller size closets technically still function just as normally as the big ones. I could be wrong. There may be, like, certain interactions with the big ones that you can't have with the small ones. I usually mainly use the big ones, except for in a few cases. So I'm not 100% sure with that. So we'll see. And now that the 1 bedroom is done, we're going to head upstairs. I think I realized that I needed to do some tweaking here and there upstairs, which happens when you're in building, especially when you start changing the sizes of things because you realize that you didn't make it big enough, or you made it too big, or, you know, you're trying to go for a certain look and you realize that you messed up on one side of the house or something like that. So sometimes, yeah, you gotta do tweaking, and you realize that you didn't do the tweaking when you thought you did the tweaking, so then you gotta go back and do more tweaking. But, so yeah, I had to sort of do that, but that's fine, happens. And now we're on to the next bedroom, which is obviously not as colorful as the last bedroom, but at the same time, definitely not your black and white theme. I definitely use mostly blues. I did bring black in, but there's a lot of blue going on. And so this would be like a younger child, but not a toddler's room. So it's for like the little kid, and place for them to play and just, you know, enjoy a little time to themselves. I did try to incorporate a few different things. A lot of times I forget about the void critter thing, and then I noticed, like, with the void critter thing, I go through spurts of using it because I'll remember it, and then other times I'll forget about it. But the problem with the void critter thing is I forget to try to make my sim kids play with it. So that's one of the things. But I like the idea of the void critters. I think they're cute, and I think it, like, adds something to the game, and it gives something to the kids that they can be, like, you could say they're, like, strong fans over, like, you know, Pokemon and Digimon. So it's really cool to have, like, the void critters as a thing. So I definitely did actually try to decorate it with void critters, and, you know, with that sort of whole theme that, you know, they really like it and they enjoy it. And I did also try to add a few other things, but the room wasn't big enough, like the science lab and stuff like that. I try to always give a few different things for the kids to enjoy so that they can, you know, have fun in their own room, because I was a kid who stayed in my room a lot so myself, so I definitely would like to make sure that my sim kids, if they so choose to stay in the room, they have stuff to do. If they don't choose to stay in the room, that's also fine. But anyway, we're now on to the last of the just normal bedrooms before the master bedroom. So this is the last kids room, which obviously is more geared towards a toddler. I sort of went with this cloud theme, at least for, like, the aesthetic of the room. And I do change the size of this room. I don't know if I keep it in, but I actually changed the size of this room because it was a little bit, it wasn't necessarily too big, but with being the toddler's room, I was okay with making that one sort of small, and sort of the aesthetic of the house on the outside. When I started realizing I hadn't been updating the roofs situation and stuff like that, I realized, I was like, the roofs are a little off now that I've been moving things around and stuff. And then the one roof looked so much different size from the other roof. Like, I wasn't going for them to be the exact same size, like both be rectangles or whatever, or both be perfect squares, but I wanted the roofs to, like, be at least semi-close to the same look and feel, so I did do some editing there, but I'm pretty sure I took it off. And now you're seeing the master bedroom, where I am just, basically I have no plans for the Sims that live here to actually stay in this bedroom for long periods of time. This is just an area to sleep, get changed, and, you know, every once in a while spend some R&R time with each other, like the couple and stuff like that. But other than that, most of their time is going to be spent in other places of the house. So this is one of the master bedrooms that I probably didn't decorate as much as some of the others. I think it was also, since it's the last room, it was also, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when it gets to some of the last rooms, I start realizing, like, how close to the end I am. And I'm like, yeah, I'm almost done. I'm almost finally done. So I sort of get a little quick moving and not paying attention as much. And also with this house, I do have the plan on adding CC, so there was a lot of points because of the look and feel, and a lot of the CC that I have would fit this family that I'm planning on moving into this house so well that I was like really just wanting to put CC into this build so bad. The urge was getting worse as I was going along. The kids' bedrooms wasn't so bad because when it comes to at least objects and decorating kids' bedrooms, there's stuff there. It just doesn't seem like there's much for the kids to do otherwise versus the adults and stuff. But anyway, that's a totally another story and video that I could plan on doing, actually. But anyway, so yeah, I was decorating it some, but I didn't like over decorate it. I realized I did forget to put lamps on the nightstands, because I usually try to put lamps on the nightstands so that if one person decides to read a book, obviously that doesn't happen in The Sims, but we can pretend with our little imagination heads. they can have their light on their side, and the other side could have the light off, and all that stuff. So I like going with that thought process that, you know, they can do stuff like that. But I forgot the lamps, and I didn't realize it till screenshots, and I was like, oh well, that's fine. And this is like the little balcony area, which I think is really fun, cool little thing. It's like, you're not necessarily on a balcony, actually, but you're on the roof, sort of. So that's really fun in a way, I think. So it's nice, and you could sit out there and be on the views, but you're also like, you know, I don't know, it's like just cool thought process, and I've seen it on the, like, what was my inspo for this build, and I was like, I definitely want to include that part. So yeah. But anyway, this is now the master bath, which I don't know if I stick with this wallpaper or not. The more I'm looking at it now, the less I like it, but I may have stuck with this wallpaper. I cannot remember for the life of me. And it looks like I might be. But I do know that I actually was trying to bring in a little bit more colors with this wallpaper. So like I was trying to be like, okay, this whole house is mostly black and white, and the one other color that I'm bringing in is close to the rusty orange colors, so let me try to get, you know, some rusty orange reddish colors going on. So I think that was my whole choice behind the wallpaper. But now that I'm looking at it, I wish I would have chose a different wallpaper. But I'm going to be CCing this build up, so I can change it there. And talking about that, if you would like to see me do a tour of this build after I change it with CC, just to see the difference, it wouldn't be like me doing a speed build video of me changing the stuff from Maxis stuff to CC stuff. It would just be like, I would do it, and then after I finish, I would do like a little quick look through with you all and have like the face cam and everything and stuff, and actually talk about why I chose to change certain things and just show off the CC, because I think this house would actually benefit from some CC, actually. Like, it looks, I love how it turned out, especially the outside. The outside, I'm in love with part of it. And just in general, this is one of the builds that I have liked the end result more than some of the others. But at the same time, I think it would get so much better with some CC, the CC that I have. So I think I would have a lot of fun adding CC to this, and if you wanted to see that, let me know. Now, by now, you should be seeing the screenshots of the build, which it's a pretty sizable build, so the screenshots go on for a while. But let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on this build. Did you like it? Was there some things that you would change? And again, let me know if you'd like to see the CC tour of this build. I might just go ahead and record it anyway, because I don't know. I'm trying to get to a point where I have a lot of the videos scheduled and planned for certain days, or even when I'm recording, keep in mind which day I'm going to post it on. So I'm trying to get to a point like that, so I'm not sure when I'm posting this one just yet, though. But yeah, I might just go ahead and at least record it, and if anyone's interested, I'll go ahead and publish it and stuff, and depending on how it turns out. But yeah, anyway, I did have a lot of fun doing this, and I really, really like this, and I'm excited to actually have my Sims live in this house. So I'm ready to get them moving, but I gotta do some adjustments and some changes and stuff before the Sims get in there on the house side of things and the Sim side of things. Yeah, that might be a little confusing, but anyway. Again, this is going to be up on the gallery. All the information, if you forget, is going to be in the description below. So my Origin ID, that name's Build. My Twitter is also going to be down in the description below. So if you find it easier to contact me there for questions about the build, if you can't find it or anything like that, or just general questions about maybe even where I find my CC or something like that, if you ever see a CC item in any of the videos. So you could go follow me over on there, and feel free to tweet me and ask me questions about stuff, about the builds and the things that I do. There will also be the Sims 4 build playlist, so that if you want to see some of the other builds that I've done, you can go check that out. I will say, like, the first 10 builds or so aren't my best builds, because it was the first so many builds, but it gets better. I also don't know if I continue including my collab video builds, like the ones that are for like the giant collabs. I think at one point I was adding them there in the speed builds, but then I think I stopped at some point. Also with those, if you didn't want to see those, because it's a lot of information about the collabs and stuff like that versus the builds, I might actually go through and remove those from the playlist, just because it's old, like, information. So I might go through and remove this from the build playlist, just so, you know, it's less cluttered and you can actually get to some of my builds quicker and some of the better ones, because, like I said, the first so many are okay, but they're not great. But anyway, if you like this video, make sure you hit that lovely like button and subscribe to see future videos as well, so that you don't miss any speed builds or any other things. I do a lot of creative Sims also on here, and I have a few Sims LPs, and I also have other game LPs on here as well. So you might find some other things that you like as well. If you are not already subscribed, hit the little notification bell so that you're notified when a video goes live, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!